Shining bright, sunshine in the sky. Megan and Tammy here to testify, spreading love, laughter and good vibes too. The Fat Girl Chronicles, we're breaking through. No more.
Hi everyone, I'm Tammy.
And I'm Megan.
And together we are
the Fat Girl Flippers.
And this is the Fat Girl I was going to say Chronicles. Fat Girl Chronicles. Our podcast where we talk about everything fat related, and other topics that are of interest to us fat girls.
If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you can be reminded of when we're on. And then also, if you're following us on the different podcast streams, we're on practically everything. So you can also listen to us on audio if you want to do a mixture of both.
If you don't want to see our beautiful faces.
Yeah, you can listen to the audio while you're driving or whatnot. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
And of course, we do love the comments and stuff.
Yeah, so thank you for the comments. I have to get better at replying.
We're so bad at that.
I know.
I'm bad at that too. Like I am like
I see them, but then I see them pop up and go across my screen.
Yeah.
But then I forget to go and read. And anyway, so we appreciate your comments, and we do see them.
Yeah, I read them. It's just
I read them too.
Yeah, it's just the responding, and I'm so. But that's like my real life too. Like I'm so lately, just with everything being so busy, I've been so bad at just.
You know what
responding.
I think I need to do, if I set aside a time and a day and set an alarm and set myself to do that, then, you know, if I consistently did that every week, then that would be like my little contribution. Yeah. So maybe that will be, all right, we're putting that out there. That's a little goal for me.
Yes.
So you can call me on that if I don't. If I don't respond to your comment, you can say I didn't respond.
Yeah.
So.
Also, before we begin, just want to let you know that next week there will not be a podcast. I am going to an Indigenous social work conference / training in a different province. So, and that's going to be all next week. So that'll be fun. I'm excited for it. But I won't be here physically. Unless Tammy and Archie wanted to do one together.
Tammy and Archie will be busy.
Well, and that's the other thing, right? Yeah. Busy having fun. As looks like he's having fun right now.
No, he was glaring at us a minute ago. I'm waiting for him to come barreling up here and get in front of the screen.
Yeah, Archie's like, there's no way.
He's angry every time we do a podcast, and we don't understand why.
I don't get it.
He literally
is angry. He's even got like a tuft of fur on his bum, like
standing up. Yeah. You know, like when cats get that scary thing. And his ears are laid back, and he's laying at the door staring at us. Oh, no, he knows we're talking about it now.
Now he's trying to get out. I got a big stretch.
Halloween cat. Anyway, enough about Archie.
Poor Archie. So yeah.
We do love Archie though.
We do. So we won't be here next week, but we will be here the week after. I'm pretty proud of us though, because
our consistency has been really good.
Yeah, we had 20 episodes. We've only missed the one.
And that was for one, like legitimate reasons. It was a medical reason, and this time is work.
It's just uncontrollable. Yeah. Because normally I'm not away for so long, but this is a big, and it happens like right after the holiday. So it's just like, oh my gosh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And my friend is coming from Newfoundland, so I'm very excited about that.
Welcome, Trista.
Yes. She actually, she sent me, she must have just got her like full edits back from her wedding.
Oh.
And there's this beautiful photo of her like dancing.
Aw.
Oh, it's so pretty.
I can't wait to see, because you guys look so pretty.
Yeah. But it just looked like she was so free, because she's not one that's kind of more reserved and like.
I could tell that from the picture. She looks like she's a very...
she's like an old soul, really.
I was going to say, and like humble and very like not into a bunch of makeup and that kind of stuff.
Very much so, yeah. So...
Naturally beautiful.
Yeah, so it was really good to just see her kind of be free. The last time I really saw her do that was when she like got drunk at my wedding. She loved our wine. We made we went and got like wine made or whatever.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And she loved it. And I just remember her like coming out of the bathroom just like hooting and hollering and just be like, yeah. Oh my gosh, she was so cute that night.
I wish I had known you when you got married. That was right before we met. Or very close before.
Actually,
we met.
it would have been because I got married in 2016 and we met in 2017.
17, yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah,
it was kind of like a Newfoundland wedding.
And your venue was in Parsboro, so
Portapique.
Portapique, yeah.
Yeah. Right out in the open, and half of Richard's family is Newfoundland, so like it was like kind of a Newfie wedding. So, how was your week? Wonderful.
Well, it's been up and down.
Yep. I can see where he clawed that door off.
Yeah. He's trying to get away from us. It's like the podcast again. Yeah. My week has been good in some aspects. I had a good talk with the study that I'm doing, the art of mothering, with the and got to show them some of my artwork. So that was good. But there's been some downs. I haven't been able to get to the doctor. I'm supposed to go see the doctor, and transportation is a problem. In a wheelchair, because in this town there are only 2 wheelchair accessible vehicles, and they had to be booked 72 hours in advance, and it's a big problem. So
yeah,
it's hard sometimes. So
yeah.
So that's my week.
Transportation is difficult. I'd be curious to see like what other like places or countries or provinces.
Yeah, if anybody's listening to us that is not from the local area, or even from our province, I'd be curious to find out what your transportation systems are like for people with disabilities in other areas. If it's a thing or if it's not a thing. I don't know how many people listen to us that might have mobility issues or disabilities. And for those of you who don't know, you may not have seen me. You may only be hearing me, but I am in a wheelchair. So,
that makes it extra difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you can get to the doctor soon.
Well, yeah. It was kind of something. If you didn't get there, then it wasn't much point, right?
Yeah.
It's just going to heal on its own. So.
Oh, right. For what? Yeah.
Yeah, from falling out of the wheelchair.
Yeah. Yeah, my week has been busy. I feel like I've just been go. So I'm hoping that as I go from one position to the other, like I'm transferring files from my previous position soon, and so I'm hoping that I'm going to be fully leaving protection, and then I'm going to head over into more like foster care stuff, so I'm excited about that. I went to the home show this weekend.
Yeah, you said that.
Which I've never been to a home show. I had no idea what to expect, and that was interesting. I mean, I literally cannot even fathom being able to, like, why they would even have people shopping, because it's like the money like for home renos and stuff is so expensive. Yes. I can't even dream of it right now. But they had other stuff there too. I bought this cute necklace that said Hot Mess Express, which is so cute.
You didn't get me one to match?
No, I should have. They only have one left, or else I definitely would have. I 100% would have. And I got this makeup bag. Oh, what does it say? It's cowboy something. I can't remember now, but it's something cute about cowboys. And she was really sweet. It was actually a young girl who had the business. Mm-hmm. And she brings in like even denim from Alberta and makes them all cowboy-y, which is interesting. I told her that she should look into plus size.
I used to love going to the home show when I wasn't in the chair. And seeing all the different small businesses and things like that. Yeah.
There's tons. Yeah.
It's very interesting.
It is. They had like everything from food related stuff. They even had a booth for, you know that place in the valley where you can, it's like Vegas, like you can get, it's like a pop-up wedding. So there's a place in the valley where it's like a pop-up wedding spot, like you just go, like Vegas, like as if you were gonna get married in Vegas.
Really?
Yeah, it's in Wolfville.
Oh,
Yeah, so they even had a booth there too. They were
Okay,
like,
that's
let's get
interesting.
hitched. Yeah, that was kind of
that
cool.
is interesting.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's in, I'm pretty sure it's in Wolfville. And yeah, they do like pop-up weddings. They were there, and there was this, what they call the nut guy. Have you ever heard of the nut guy?
No.
Anyway, he had like a bunch of nuts and popcorn. I think I smelled like a lot of popcorn from his booth. But we were there recruiting foster families, which was fun. Oh, did you find it?
No, I was just looking for something else.
And we were beside, it was interesting. We were beside this chiropractor, which was very interesting because he was saying that he basically doesn't need any new clients. Like he's got tons and tons of clients.
I believe that.
Yeah, but he set up shop and it was so busy, but he had this machine that could like go down your body, like check where the inflammation was and stuff.
Interesting, isn't it?
It was very interesting. You could tell that he was just like very passionate about it.
It's one thing, living in Belize, there were a couple of places that did full body scans, which I don't see that, maybe we do have them around here and I just don't know, but I haven't seen anybody, especially in the Truro area, doing anything like that.
Yeah.
And they used to, I forget what it was called, but it was almost like an ultrasound image of your whole body. And then,
Really?
Yeah, and the same thing, it would show like areas of inflammation or if there was something wrong. Yeah, and you used to pay a fee and go in and get in this booth thing and get scanned.
Yeah. No, it was pretty cool, and he brought like a client each the separate days with him.
So that he could show.
Well, just so they could talk about their experience and stuff, and
very
they were
interesting.
very, and then
What a great idea.
yeah, and then the other side was the QE2 lottery thing.
Oh, yes.
Do you know the tickets are like $100?
I do. Back in the day when I used to work full time, I used to buy them every year.
Holy beep.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what was nice,
And they've been $100 for a long time.
oh my gosh, what was nice though is we were talking about that with the girls that were running it, and they were like, yeah, we just basically we're just sitting, if so people want to buy, they can come to us, but like because of the times, like they weren't like out trying to recruit people or anything, which was nice.
Times are really tough. And
I certainly didn't have the money to just throw $100 on a ticket.
a lot of people are struggling, and it's evident. I belong to a lot of like nonprofit groups and support groups and things like that across the province here, and man, some of the stories heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You know, people that are homeless and
of course,
just
it's well, like, and obviously, like, for those who buy the tickets, like, good for you, like you're supporting a good cause.
100%,
like absolutely.
yeah.
I just when I was thinking, I was looking, I was like, oh, maybe it's like $20 or something. I would spend $20, but I was like,
which is kind of unfortunate, because if you are, most times the people that would be buying the tickets would be people who already have a home and are well off.
yeah.
So if they want it, it's, it's nice, but it would be lovely if it could go to somebody that didn't have a home.
Like spent their last $100 or something.
Yeah.
No, when they did $100, I was like, and then you can get like the mega package is like $1,000. I was like, holy! But again, you're supporting a good cause, so whoever does buy them,
it is a good cause.
Yeah, like that's great. Good. I just was like, I did not anticipate that. And the other thing was my social anxiety was really bad this weekend. Really bad at the home show. Like I was anxious walking through, like terrified that people were gonna like talk to me.
Really?
Yeah, I for some reason like this weekend it was really like sometimes you just notice when it's like extra.
It's so weird because I used to be like that. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I used to have real social anxiety issues, and I still do sometimes. But I find now, because I hardly ever get out, when I do get out, I want to talk to people.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just because I go places where
Right.
I like the people
Right.
are, you know, I like the people that
Right.
I'm around.
Yeah, it was hard because it was like, so to recruit, like we were just like, you know, saying hi or whatever, and have you ever thought about becoming a foster parent or whatever? And I could always say hi to people, but then like to get into conversation, like I froze.
Tell us a little more about that, because I'm interested in like knowing, because I know there's a big need. So
Oh,
what,
and fostering, you mean?
yeah,
Tell us
like
about
what
fostering?
what
Yeah.
because a lot of people have preconceived notions of what fostering looks
For sure.
like.
Yeah.
So just a little blurb.
Yeah,
I
so-
mean, do they accept single people? Do they
Yeah.
accept people of the same sex? You know, yeah.
Absolutely. So basically, so now this is for like Mi'kmaq families. So this is like, DCS and Mi'kmaq families have
So
almost the same process.
Indigenous families only, or
You can, yes, or if the person is very well connected with the
Okay.
with a community, like that's
Gotcha.
another. And they can only, if they're non-Indigenous and connected, they could only foster for like a short period of time.
yeah.
But
Because the
basically-
cultural connection would be very important to keep the child.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely. So basically, like in the province of Nova Scotia, if you're looking to foster, you know, basically the first things that you go through are your criminal record check, your child abuse registry,
Yeah.
and there's another check, and I can't remember what it is.
The vulnerable sector.
like the vulnerable, yeah.
vulnerable person sector check.
Yeah, I think there's 2 or 3 checks that you can do, and then you have to do some training. We're just distracted by
Archie, come. Sorry.
You can mute that.
Okay.
So you start off by like an info session if they decide they want to go through with it. They do the checks, and then you do some training. You have to provide 2 or 3 references so they can call and basically ask like, how is this person as a parent, whatever. But yeah, you can be single, you can be like
Really?
same-sex couple, you can be anybody really. You just have to be over 18. That's the thing. Are you over 18 and then your check's good starts the process.
Amazing.
And then with fostering, you can do different things like you can open your home to foster a specific child. Mm-hmm. Like, so then you're just like that fostering for that specific child. You can also foster just general populations.
So, like, if you fostered a specific child, it could be a relative or somebody that, like, or somebody you knew, somebody you wanted to help out.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting, too.
Yeah, and then you could also do like respite,
Oh, okay.
which is nice.
Yeah.
So I always say, like, if you're thinking about fostering and the process of it, but you don't want to like go full on in, opening your home for respite might be helpful, because then you get a feel for it
On a short term.
on a short-term notice. So that's another option too. So yeah.
So any respite would be, say, the regular foster parents would need a break, like a vacation or whatever.
Yeah. So it's interesting in the province recently. So the way it used to work when you fostered is basically you would pay for everything up front, and then you would submit receipts and go through whatever. So they just recently, like within the last 2 years, came up with this new program, and they pay the foster families now. It's like a certain amount of money per child or whatever, and then you get paid bi-weekly.
Oh.
And so that amount of money will cover those things like sports and clothes and anything you would want for a child. And then anything that's like kind of specialized, then you can request or whatever.
You know, like if you needed extra health needs or, different.
Which is nice, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then they
That's
provide
awesome.
you like 14 days of respite as well that you can use. So like 2 weeks off, right? Like it's like a job, right? Like
Yeah.
you get your bi-weekly amount of money that you can budget.
Yeah.
And so that works
That's
better.
helpful. Might be enticing to more younger people as well. Because I know before like years ago, there used to be really strict stipulations on who could foster, and
Yeah.
they mostly looked for middle-aged married couples,
Yeah.
with grown children or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so then once you start, like, you're gonna end up meeting like a bunch of different social workers. So there's like a social worker on our team that does like the recruitment and that initial point of contact and that initial point of training. Then I do Pride training, which is also what foster parents go, and that's like an in-depth 12 sessions or 12 modules on things like, well, today I did my first one, and that's on building self-esteem and communication styles. It can be something like that. It can be developmental stages. It can be on discipline. It can be on anything. So that's what I do.
basically around parenting.
Yeah, and then then there will be another social worker that comes in and does things like what they call a safe assessment, and that's where they get more into like, why did you want to foster? What is your home life like? What's home life like?
Look like
what
for
kind
you,
of
yeah.
neighborhood are you in? What's the house like? That kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and then once you finish that safe assessment, it's like you're getting near the end of the process.
Here he is.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's interesting that you say about young people, because some comments that I have heard from some younger people are like I'm talking like below 18, like 15, 16, whatever. They really don't want, as awful as it sounds,
They don't want children.
well, they don't want to bring children in this world.
Yeah.
Like they're like we're in, in this economic state and everything that's happening and the mental health crisis and all this stuff. I'd rather foster and adopt.
But in some ways, I guess that's a good thing that we have
There's
some
such
people
a need.
thinking of that, because there is such a need.
There is such
there-
a need.
Because of the state of the world, a lot of our children are in such a state too, like
Yeah.
in limbo or in just, not sure where they're going or what's going to happen. Because, I mean, the future is kind of bleak
Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
for young people.
One thing I will say though is like within our agency, what we are really good about, if a child can stay with family, that's best. If they can stay in the community, that's best. If they can stay within their culture, that's best. Like, so oftentimes we don't, like, we definitely have a need for foster homes. But there's a lot higher numbers in like DCS, Department of Community Services, who focus on non-Indigenous populations. And, the alternative for kiddos that don't end up getting into a foster home are things like group homes. And I mean,
That's not
I really don't even need to go into that without you
that's
guys knowing
absolutely worst case scenario.
that group homes are not a spot to raise children who have been through trauma.
No.
And they'll only experience more trauma in
Yes.
group homes. As much as, the people that work there, they are lovely people.
And they do the best that they can.
They do the best that they
but
can.
a child should never be raised in a group home.
No.
I mean, children need structure. They need, they need a safe place. They need a room to sleep in. That's
Yep.
not, they don't need to be surrounded by a zillion other people with more problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, I mean, that's where they're enticed to do other things, or they get into problems with, being out on the streets, roaming around, especially once they get to be, 14, 15, and they're in the group homes, they're allowed to go outside. And
Yeah. So it's good.
Yeah.
So definitely, if you're thinking about it, whether you're in Nova Scotia or not, I would definitely encourage you all to look into fostering. I think it's great. I think you'll make a difference.
I know New Brunswick is always crying out for adoptive and foster families.
Yeah.
Always. I see advertisements all the time.
Yeah, it's sad. There's a lot of kiddos that need.
It is very sad. And I always think about the kids that don't get a foster home or don't get adopted.
Yeah.
And we see it here because we have, there is a group home.
And that's
very close, like one street over from me.
Yeah.
So.
And that's an intense example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen the children walking around, and I mean, they're teenagers and stuff, but it's just, they look lost.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I always feel, I don't know. I just, my heart breaks for them because I don't know what's worse, being in a bad family or being in a group home. You know?
Yeah. It's definitely like picking the worst of the worst, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So today...
Yes, now that we've spent a half an hour talking about our week. Actually,
Which is
it was
good.
good. It was good to talk about the fostering, though, because a lot of people don't know.
That's the thing.
They really don't know. So
They don't, yeah.
it's good to know. And although Megan works for Mi'kmaq Family Services, which is an Indigenous agency,
Yeah.
Department of Community Services also would be looking for foster families.
Yes. So, if you are from Nova Scotia and you're like, who do I contact? Feel free to message
reach
us.
out to us and we'll get you in touch with who you need to be in touch with.
Absolutely.
Megan can certainly point you in the right direction.
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
We were just going to talk about, Megan had a good suggestion, talking about the subject of sink or swim. And, yeah. Sometimes, this is just my take on this, sometimes you have to mentally, because things around you are so chaotic and they're out of your control and it may not be a good situation, and you've done everything you can on your end and it's still not making any difference, you have to just take the mindset of, I am going to swim, because if I don't, I will sink.
Yeah.
And swimming can look like a lot of different things. Sometimes you're swimming with a life preserver.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're swimming hanging off of a boat.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're swimming with nothing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're doggy paddling. Sometimes you're not.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're taking on water.
Yeah.
So yeah, life throws a lot of challenges at us, and how we choose to deal with them, I guess when things get out of our own control, is to, well, a lot of people, depending if you're religious, will say give it to God or give it over to the universe to take on, and then you step back. But that again is kind of like that's your idea of swimming, because you're taking it off of yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you brought up the topic because of I guess you had
a day.
So.
Yeah. So for me, my new position, I'm doing like training, and today was my first day. And so when I do this training, so first off, the plan was for me to do this training, my first training, with the person who had the job before me. So they were going to come with me, and also to do this training, because it's within it's something for foster families typically, you usually have like a co-facilitator who's a foster parent. Mm-hmm. So the person who had this job before me was traveling and got stuck because of the hurricane. Okay. Hurricane Milton, yeah. Was coming, and so her flight was delayed till tomorrow night. So she couldn't come. And then the co-facilitator couldn't come because of other stuff, and then we found another co-facilitator, and then they couldn't come because of some family illness. So there was that. So that was like stressful in and of itself, because then I'm kind of like doing this on my own. Mm-hmm. And then I recently changed like my username.
Yes, I remember you saying that.
Yes. So I learned this morning that changing my username meant I didn't have access to any of my my drives. Where my PowerPoints were for the presentation today. Or for the workshop today. So thankfully, I'm somebody who tries to be prepared. I'm not always prepared. But I did send the PowerPoint to the person who had this position before me. Like, once it was done, like, I sent it to her just for her to look at. So I happened to have it in my email.
Oh, awesome.
And I also have, because the thing is, the one I sent to her didn't have the notes, but I also happened to have already printed off the PowerPoint with my notes, speaking notes. So I got lucky.
Yeah.
I got really lucky.
So you had a life preserver when you were swimming there?
I did, yeah. So I messaged my supervisor, who has been nothing but absolutely supportive. And she was just checking in, and I was like, I was like, this happened, this happened, this happened. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then at the very end, I said, it's like this. You either sink or swim, and I'm effing swimming. I was like, there's no way I'm going down. I can't, like, not my first go, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, I made the modifications that I felt I needed to make. I messaged everyone yesterday and said we're going to start a half hour late, so that gave me more time to kind of get settled. Thankfully, I knew every single participant that came in today, so it was like very relaxed, you know, so it worked out, but I was just like, I could feel myself saying, because I'm like a person where I kind of like believe in like fate or the world trying to tell you something. So my mind started to go to, if all of these things are happening, does this mean like this isn't the right position for me, that something's going to happen, that I'm not going to do a good job, that I'm going to fail at this?
No, it's completely the opposite.
Right. So, and then I was like,
because the universe gave you the PowerPoint, the universe gave you the notes, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, see, it's perspective, right?
That's
so
right.
I then was like, no, absolutely not. I'm not sinking with the ship. I don't care. I'll do it myself. Like, you know, so that's what made me think, oh, we should talk about like sinking or swimming. Yeah, that's what happened.
And me, I have some major life transitions going on right now.
To say the least.
Yeah. And I really I'm a person who doesn't thrive well when I don't have control of my situation. And right now I don't have control of my situation. There's very little I can do to control anything in my life right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, I shouldn't say that. That's not true. I can control a lot of things, but there are some major things that I can't control right now. And it's really hard as a person who likes to have their ducks in order and know what's going to happen exactly on. I mean, I have my agenda that even though I don't work, my agenda is usually full of things, you know, that I know what I'm doing on what such and such a day. And I can tell you, I have spent, when you asked about my week, truthfully, I'll be honest, I have been in bed since Monday. Mm-hmm. I got up and got my pajamas on for us to do fat girl flippers on Tuesday.
Yeah, we did our fat girl flippers.
But other than that, I have been in bed every day. And I mean, I feel myself going down that hole of depression. So the fact that I am recognizing that I'm going down that hole is a good thing, because that means that I'm aware of my feelings and how, which in the past I wouldn't have been.
Yeah.
So I know that I need to, things that help me are, you know, to get out, to talk to people. Yeah, I need a life preserver. So if anybody out there's got a life preserver,
throw it her way.
Throw it my way. Yeah. So I'm just struggling. A lot of things in a lot of ways, financially, you know, mentally, physically, a lot of stuff. And it's just overwhelming. But I did make the decision. Even it's funny, Megan brought up this topic because I talked to my twinnie. Yeah, we had a good conversation today, and we played some trivia and did our usual. Because I haven't had data, I haven't been able to talk to her very much, but we did our FaceTime today. And anyway, I always feel better after I talk to her. And then when I got off the phone, she sent me a message and said that the prayer group had prayed for me, and, you know, like, just, she always makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So I had made the decision before you came today that I was going to get a plan for tomorrow and get myself to get up in the morning and do something and, you know, continue to go about life, even though I have no control over it.
Yeah.
But to do the best I can do and do what I can do, and what I can't do, I just have to put out of my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes that's the reality of it. And I mean, it doesn't sound nice, and I mean, maybe people don't want to hear about it, but that's when you deal with depression or anxiety or issues like mental health issues like that, and then things get out of control in your life. It's hard. Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned control. So, like, that was my first session today was on self-esteem, and we were talking about, like, the kind of conditions that lead to high self-esteem and what people need. And people need that control. So like we were talking about in the sense of like, how do you kind of encourage high self-esteem in children?
Yeah.
So, you know, control, like giving them choices, allowing them to see that they can be responsible for things, you know, letting them make decisions, all that kind of stuff. So control is like something that we as humans really struggle with, because there's so many things we can't control.
Yes.
And that's hard.
And part of it is trying to figure out too what you can control or should be controlling, and what you need to let go and be comfortable letting go.
Yeah.
Because I think when you grow up with trauma, you are always hypervigilant. You're always trying to overcompensate. There's a lot of different things that happen, and it affects your ability to sink or swim.
Yeah.
Because you tend to, I find people with trauma tend to be black and white. Mm-hmm. It's either all good or all bad. And in order to swim, you need to be in that middle. Yeah. You need to be in the gray area. You can't be in the black or white.
Yeah.
And you have to let go of the control, and you have to.
Yeah.
And it is a hard thing to do. It's
That's kind of a good analogy, because it makes me think of like, you know, people who kind of are like, you're either sinking, drowning, or you're on this $1 million yacht, like going to the island. But sometimes you are just swimming. So it's difficult. It's labored. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes energy, right? Like swimming is not just like whatever.
And you need to learn how to tread water.
So I think that's a great analogy, because it's not like we're saying, just think everything's fine and keep swimming.
No, because that's
not what we're saying.
That's not, no, definitely not the case. And especially people with mental health issues are need to know that, because sometimes, again, with that black and white thinking, you're hard on yourself too, because you feel like, okay, I've lost control of this, so I'm just stupid, or I'm just,
and everything's out of my control, and I'm just drowning,
or everything's shit, right?
Yeah. So we both swear at the same time.
Well, I mean, it's just shit. It's not. Shit is shit. Sometimes you're swimming in shit.
Yeah, really.
Anyway, but that black and white thinking is really hard to get out of, and I am very thankful for my DBT skills, because I advise anybody who has the opportunity to learn DBT skills.
Yeah.
Because it really, really does help you in your life.
Yeah.
It's changed my life, so.
Yeah.
For the better.
Yeah, I think it's just like acknowledging that, you know, some things aren't going your way. It's kind of like that analogy which I've used 1,000,001 times. When it rains, it pours. And, you know, I've used that so many times. But again, that sort of thinking is like, it's all gone, you know?
You know, when you say it rains, it pours, that brings me to the thought of like North Carolina and Florida and stuff, and those people that lost their homes and lost their lives and all of that stuff. And it kind of puts things into perspective that your life isn't that bad. Yeah. I'm not saying, you know, that to make anyone feel like they need to, you know, that there's anything wrong with thinking that there's something wrong with your life, because everybody's entitled to their feelings. But it does, when a natural disaster or something happens, it does put things into perspective.
Yeah.
And I mean, us here in Nova Scotia, we've been through some really rough, you know, hurricanes. We've been through, especially in our area, we've been through a lot. So we understand the tragedy and the, you know, the destruction and the being without power.
You lived in Belize. I mean, that would be...
Well, to be truthful with you, we went through more trauma here than
Really?
I ever did down there. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because they're more prepared for it, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. And us here...
We're not.
Well, no, because hurricanes were never a thing here.
Yeah, we are not prepared.
It's only been probably in the last 20 years that we started really having, you know, bad hurricanes. And now we seem to get, at least, if we don't get the tail end of them, we actually get hit by them a lot of the time. So I think in the last couple of hurricanes, we really...
Yeah.
Truro really got hit. We lost a lot of trees. We had no power for weeks. Remember,
Yeah.
there's been a couple of them. We had White Juan, we had Hurricane Juan, we had, what's the last one we had that was really bad? Anyway, we've had some hurricanes here too, so we understand the disaster, and we understand the hard work it is to rebuild, and people losing. Well, here, thankfully, they didn't lose houses. Some people lost houses, I guess. Trees fell on them, but yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So it helps you to think about sink or swim, because those people are literally sinking.
Yeah, and our hearts go to Florida right now.
Yeah,
because
North Carolina. North Carolina.
Are they getting hit too?
They were hit from the last one.
Oh,
North Carolina lost.
Honestly,
they had the flooding come down from the mountains, and it took away a lot of their houses. Like literally, they went down the river.
Yeah, no, I haven't been.
Oh yeah, watching. North Carolina's in a mess.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. That's sad.
It is very sad.
It's scary.
A lot of lives were lost.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but yeah, so sink or swim. What are your thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Are you thinking? No.
Are you
sinking? Are you swimming? Or are you on the yacht?
I don't even want to be on the yacht. You know that? You know where I want to be? I want to be out on the Keys with the fishermen and Belize. Just, to me, that was paradise.
I thought.
Shout out to all those guys out there that are, out trying to make a living.
I thought she was going to say in your little tree house that we talked about like 3 or 4 episodes ago.
No. Well, that too, but no, I just, when you say sink or swim, because out there on the Keys with the fishermen, when they took me out there, it was just such an amazing experience, and so like peaceful, and just, I don't know, ate really good, wholesome food, and you had lots of rest and lots of sunshine and lots of nice cool air, and just and the water, you could swim in the nice warm water, and just everything, and everybody out there was so kind, and it was just a beautiful time.
It's kind of interesting because water is one of those things that can be so beautiful and healing and lovely and everything else, and yet be so destructive and bring death and scariness, and so it's kind of one of those things.
I'm just thinking, Mother Nature, when she wants to, I was gonna say slap us on the ass.
Yeah.
She does. And there's no control over that. That's the way the earth works, right?
Yeah. Yeah. With the water piece, it to me, it just kind of brings me back to like, water has the ability to be both of those things. And so I feel like as humans, we also have that ability, and like we can, choose to kind of sink and fall into like super kind of negative thinking patterns. We can choose to like, kind of have that all white or black thinking, and it can be really, really scary. Like really scary and really destructive and really heartbreaking. Or we could have some of that positivity, like, you know what I mean? We have that power just like the water. It's
funny in therapy, whenever the therapist is ever trying to walk me through a process, or like we're doing visualization or anything, and of course they're always talking about your happy place or wherever, and for me it's always the water, like and I mean, I'm a person who, if I get into swim, I can stay in there for hours and hours. I'd be the last person out of the pool, or the last person out of the it's peace for me.
It's true. My favorite thing to do is like when I go to a pool or whatever, to like lay on my back, like float on my back, and have the water like come up to my face, so like my ears are under the water, because you hear nothing. Right? You hear nothing, and it's healing.
It's so emotional for me.
I was gonna say she's getting teary-eyed.
I know, because I can't get in the water anymore. And yeah.
Oh, Tammy.
Sorry.
We'll go swimming.
It's not that. It's just, like,
It's not an easy process, right? Like there's so much that goes into it.
no. Okay.
You got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, that's one of the things I miss.
Yeah.
Is the water, nature.
Oh, baby.
Richard, you're gonna have to cut this out.
I think this is good though. I mean, it just shows how real stuff like this is.
It's just difficult
Yeah.
when you're a person who's always had, the privilege of
Yes.
being able to,
Of mobility.
yeah,
Of mobility.
of mobility.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people will think, oh, well, people that are in wheelchairs, they can go swimming, they can do this, but it's not as easy as it sounds.
It's not. And so, do you mind if I share our story that one time we went to, I won't say where, but.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so, we had decided that we wanted to go to a pool, and we had, oh my gosh. So, first off, you have to.
You should share where.
So, we had to, to be able to, first of all, go, you have to get, a wheelchair in, and I'm not strong. I've got no arm strength. God love Tammy. I've got no arm strength. So, for us at that point, and I think my car was full, we didn't have the option of bringing it. So then it was when you call places and they're like, is this wheelchair accessible? Because we really want to go swimming. And then they bring out what was an airplane one? A wheelchair that you would put on an airplane, but the wheels didn't work. And it was a disaster. So I came out with it. It was super, super tiny. Half the wheels didn't work. It was lopsided. It was awful. So then we had to go through that torment. And then, thankfully, I knew somebody who worked at the other swimming place, and I had called, and he literally drove out
a scooter
for us so that we could go, which was really super nice. But that process. So you got to think first you got to call the place to see if they have it. Then you got to trust that they actually know what they're talking about. And then if you go and they don't,
truthfully and honestly, and it's not their fault, because
Of
unless
course.
you're in this position, you don't understand. You really do not understand.
No, I mean,
and you
you
don't think about it.
you would think a wheelchair is a wheelchair is a wheelchair, but it's
Yeah,
not.
It's not.
It's not.
And everybody who's in a wheelchair has different needs.
Yeah.
Just the same as everybody who walks on 2 feet has different needs.
Of course.
It's the
course.
same thing. It's not because we're all in a wheelchair, we all require the same thing, or we all can't use our arms, or we all can't use our legs, or whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody who's in the chair is different, and we're all different sizes, just like people who walk.
Yeah.
So those are things that you have to consider, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's difficult, and it's a huge process. So, yeah, it's easy for, and we will go swimming, but it is a process, and swimming is something that if Tammy could do it every day, she would. I mean,
Yeah.
if I could do it every day, I would.
Yep.
Swimming has always been healing
And
for both of
I
us.
shout out to Paula, because she did get me to the water this summer, and I was able to take a walker and
Yes.
get knee deep in the water, the ocean, which was a blessing.
Yeah.
I guess the Northumberland Strait, not the ocean, but same kind of, I guess.
Yeah.
But I haven't been in that kind of water for years now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Life is hard, but we will get through it.
Yeah. So you were going to choose to.
Swim.
And how are you going to choose to swim?
This week?
Yeah.
For the rest of this week, I'm just gonna try to do some self-care, taking care of me, which is not laying in bed all day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to schedule some kind of activity for me that I enjoy. Maybe I'll go thrifting, get Leo to take me out thrifting or something this weekend.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Just something, Maybe I'll go to the mall and window shop, even though that's not my thing. I'd rather be out in the woods, but maybe Yeah, a drive to the country, something like that.
That would be really, really nice. Yeah, I think that would be nice. And I like that you brought up that self-care for you. Like, because some people, self-care would be the ability to just lay in bed and do nothing.
That irritates me.
Yeah, it's not self-care for Tammy. So, you know, for Tammy, that's a sign that I'm really struggling and I need to get moving.
Yeah.
So, you know, knowing yourself is also part of sinking and swimming, right? You can't really swim that well if you don't know if you're good at the breaststroke or the backstroke or whatever it is, or maybe you're good at the doggy paddle.
It's a long weekend too, so that's always hard for me.
It's a holiday weekend, yeah. That is difficult. Is he coming over?
Who?
Leo.
I don't have any plans or anything, no. No.
Yeah. Leo's so sweet.
Cheyenne's coming over, I think, Monday.
Oh, you know she's going to be bringing, like, something.
Yeah.
She's sweet.
She's working in the day and she's coming over. She said, I don't want you to be alone on... Cheyenne's my other care worker that...
She's really sweet.
She's adorable. Yeah, so she said she would come over after she gets off work because she said, I don't want you to be alone on Thanksgiving.
She's right sweet. She's going to, like, bring, I don't know...
She said she goes, we'll cook something together. So
you would love that.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Yeah, Tammy's like, I'm not experimental at all. Tammy is, so like Tammy cooks weird stuff. Well, not really weird to me. Normal to everyone else.
Yeah, not really. I like trying things like I like Caribbean cuisine and spicy and things like that, which is completely opposite of Megan. So
I'm like, where's the chicken nuggets and fries?
Yeah. And it better be as plain as possible because the only condiment that Megan knows is ketchup.
Ketchup. I love ketchup.
And for God's sake, do not mix up peas and carrots.
No.
I always think of that every time I open a can of peas and carrots. Oh my God, Richard would have to separate these for Megan.
He's done that. Like, he's actually done that, which is...
Richie, I love you for
scary.
that. I love you that you take care of Megan like that.
Yeah,
because everybody deserves a man like that.
He's pretty good. No, he is good to me.
Like yeah. To separate your peas and carrots, that's good.
I know, like, I definitely.
Not
lucky. And he's lucky.
He's very lucky too to have you because you are definitely a gem.
Yeah, but I'm also lucky.
And I am not looking for a husband.
F that.
No more men. No more women, no more men, no more anything.
This is Archie, forget it.
No. The cat can stay. The cat makes me happy and doesn't require me to do anything.
We'll have to get, we have somebody that we want to talk to about dating, like plus size dating. So
yeah,
we really, I don't know when or how, but.
And I know we have a couple of people who would like to come on. Twinny said today that she would like to do, if we could do some kind of split screen with her. She would love to. Paula also said she'd like to come on and talk a little bit about PCOS with you.
I'd really like Paula to come on.
Paula would be a great one.
Yeah.
So we'd have to catch her when she's not working.
Okay.
Yeah. And Tara, if you're out there, we would definitely want you to come on and talk about dating. Mm-hmm. And I can give my horror stories.
There's a few. There's a few.
Megan's been there for the whole gamut of it.
Well, is there anything else?
No, I think we've talked. Shot the shit for long enough. That's a saying here, shoot the shit. I don't know where that comes from. Shoot the shit means to, like,
just chat
together. That's slang here, but I don't know if anywhere else or why.
There was another saying that I said to my old supervisor, and she was like, oh, I haven't heard that since my grandmother. I'll be there in 2 shakes of a stick.
Yeah. Or 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. That's what.
Oh, I've always heard the stick one.
2 shakes of a stick.
2 shakes of a stick. Never heard that?
No. But I want to, now I'm curious what.
That's the other one.
Shit means.
Yeah, well, and then the other one I always say is half a dozen of the other. But there's something before that, like it's a longer saying.
6 of one or half a dozen of another.
Yeah, but I just say half dozen of the other.
The other one I heard that I hadn't heard for a long time is crazier than a bag of hammers, and I don't know what that means either.
A bag of hammers?
That's a New Brunswick thing. Mm-hmm.
I've not heard that one.
Yep.
Huh.
So, if you're out there and you know any kind of weirdo shit, comment down below.
If you know any weird sayings, we also want to hear about that. So far, we wanted to hear about, I can't even remember, but there's been lots.
The thing we want to point out most of all with today's discussion is even if you feel like you're sinking and you're drowning, if you can just muster up the mental capacity, and it's not always possible, I realize that, but if you can muster up the mental capacity to say to yourself, and you have to do it yourself, say to yourself, I am going to do something for me, and I'm going to get out of this funk. And I am going to, whether you say you're going to swim or whatever, but just try to, and I know it's hard, try to do something positive and try to carry on, because I one thing that I do find is if you have something to do and set yourself up with, you know, I know you don't have the problem of having nothing to do, but you know what?
Yeah.
It's just as bad to be in the opposite situation and have nothing to do, because then your brain just
absolutely
constantly ruminates over, you know, your issues. So again, it's 6 of one or half a dozen of the other.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like a common narrative that people are like, you know, oh, they're off work or they're not working anymore.
Oh, they've got the life.
Yeah. But that's not always the case,
It's
right?
not.
The grass is not always greener on the other side.
It's not. Trust
not.
me, it is not.
No.
I would not wish this on my worst enemy.
No, exactly. So, you know, I think it's all about perspective. And I really like what you said is like, even if you feel like you're drowning, you know,
it's
even
that
if
one
just
little spark is what you need. You
know?
just need something. Like if you can just see that little spark of light at the end of the tunnel. And I hate that analogy, but
I know.
because people, you know, sometimes I've been there where you just can't. You can't see it. You can't get it. And by the grace of God, and I don't know why I'm talking about God. I'm not even really a religious, really.
She crying. She talking about God.
Oh, Lord, I'm a mess.
Well, you caught us on a good day.
My life preserver.
Got us on a good day.
Yeah. But when you can be raw and honest about things, I mean, it feels better than trying to hold everything inside and pretend that you're perfect, because none of us are.
No.
And you know, we're all vulnerable sometimes, and I hate to appear that way. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. We be swimming.
We be swimming.
What is
Hopefully.
that? Oh, Dory. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Have you ever watched Finding Nemo?
No. Well, yeah, but I don't remember. I'm not a Disney fanatic like you.
Do you know what? I actually finished because I was valedictorian for NSCC. I finished my speech with Just Keep Swimming.
Just keep swimming?
Yeah.
That'll be my motto after today. Just keep swimming.
Yeah.
I'll be looking for a life preserver. Again, if you've got life preservers,
throw them our
that
way.
will benefit me. Send them my way.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for enduring us
through another painful episode of Fat Girl Chronicles.
If you like us, you like us. If you don't, that's fine, because
That's okay.
we're not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. But the people that love us, we know they love us.
And
so.
we love you.
And we love you back is right. On that note, we'll see you next 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yes.
Hiding, no more feeling small. We're taking up space, standing proud and tall. Our voice is strong, our stories to be heard. Challenging the stereotypes, flipping the world, the chronicles of science.